June 2020 IGCSE Business Studies Paper 1 and 2 are now available. What did we discover which will help you to prepare better for your IGCSE Business Studies exam? The Cambridge IGCSE syllabus was updated in 2020. So far we've only seen one past paper from March 2020, in which there's just one exam written for paper 1 and for paper 2. So June 2020 gives us 3 examples of paper 1 and paper 2 to analyse and find out the trends for exam questions going forward. All the past papers for Cambridge International Business are available to download at caiebbusiness.com if you want to check them out yourself. Or you can stay tuned while we solve the most challenging questions from summer 2020 and enlighten you as to what we've learned from this past paper series. This can help us to predict the type of questions which will come up in 2020 and 21, and more importantly, make sure you are better prepared for the upcoming IGCSE Business Studies exam. You can find all of the question guides and tons of solutions in our online interactive courses available now at caiebbusiness.com. There weren't any big changes to the types of questions that we've seen before in paper 1, but one thing that did strike me was how challenging some of the Part E questions were. So let's look at one of the tougher examples. This question is particularly challenging as you have to make a recommendation for any manufacturing business, not the one in the case study. So it can be hard to generalise, as it really depends on the specific circumstances of a manufacturing business and the market it's in. But I'm overthinking it. The key is to keep it really simple. So we start with a knowledge point and then an explanation of why targeting new markets will be advantageous. Then a knowledge and explanation of why new packaging will be an advantage. Then a reasoned recommendation in the context of the business and rejecting the alternatives. Targeting new markets will be more advantageous as changing packaging may mean losing customers, so lost revenue which could have been used to pay for the extension strategy. You can find a more detailed guide to E6-mark questions up here. And there are specific question guides to every kind of IGCSE Business Studies question at caiebbusiness.com. In the paper 2 case studies, only one of the 3 case studies involved an entrepreneur and a small business. 2 of the case studies involved public limited companies, 1 manufacturing scooters and another one producing cars. A reminder here to read the case study carefully. The name of one of the case study businesses, Eco Scooters, could lead to the assumption that these scooters are environmentally friendly, but there isn't actually a mention of the scooters being environmentally friendly in the case study. And the picture is of a petrol scooter. The big takeaway from paper 2 was a slight change in the part A 4x2 mark questions that you need to be ready for. In March 2020, these types of questions did not need application, just knowledge and analysis. However, in each of the summer 2020 questions, one of these questions required knowledge and analysis and the other knowledge and application. Let's look at an example from paper 21. The case study involves Simon, an entrepreneur, and his fruit juice business. In question 3A, we are asked for 4 ways an increase in government spending may affect a business. There's no mention of Simon, fruit juices, or the case study, so the answer just needs a knowledge point and an explanation. This doesn't mean you'll have marks deducted if you do use the case study as an example, but your focus should be on the explanation of why government spending may affect any business. However, in 1A we are asked for 4 characteristics that make Simon a successful entrepreneur. So it's a knowledge point for each characteristic of a successful entrepreneur, followed by an example from the case study which shows how Simon displays these skills. In these questions, repetition often prevents students getting top marks. So make sure you have 4 specific knowledge points with a different reference to the case study for each to make sure you secure all 8 marks. The 12-mark questions are pretty standard. By a miracle of modern technology, you can check out the guide specifically for 12-mark questions updated for 2020 by clicking up here somewhere over my shoulder. One of the 12-mark questions, there's 4 in total, will involve calculations of 2 different options and then an evaluation of what decision to make. The most common question asks for a profit or break-even calculation of which product to produce. But paper 22 throws in a bit of a curveball and asks for a ratio analysis of which company to take over. This really is just a question about deciding which company is more profitable and has better liquidity ratios. So use profitability and liquidity ratios to figure out which company will be more beneficial to take over. For the first 2 parts, show your results from your ratio analysis, then make a recommendation based on these results. For example, EcoScooter should take over FGH as the actual profit is higher than for ABC, and the gross profit margin is higher, showing that if they control the expenses in a more effective way, profitability will also increase. Furthermore, return on capital employed is 25%, higher than ABC by 5%, so shareholders will be more confident of a return in their investment. So that's our quasi-examiner report done. If you've enjoyed the video, show you care, give me a thumbs up, and remember to subscribe for the weekly videos to drive you to success in business, IGCSE and A-level. If you want to check out the 2020 updated IGCSE 12-mark question, click up here. And if you want to find out how to avoid the top 5 mistakes at IGCSE Business Studies, click over here. And if you really want to take your learning to the next level, check out the interactive courses and resources available at caiEbusiness.com. See you next time.